What's going on, guys? Today I am sitting in the exact same spot I made last video in, a few minutes apart from each other, but I'm going to talk about today why I do not care about dyno numbers. So let's get into it. To me, I've not had really good luck with dynos. I've had a couple failures from a previous tuner running my car on the dyno way above valve float, touching 8,000 RPM on a brand new motor and things like that, and running the car back to back pulls, and gave me a bad taste in my mouth. And to know that this motor's never been on a dyno, has been together for about 3,500 miles, has a lot more idle time, completed a drag and drive, very highway friendly, and was remote tuned by GPI. It's really hard for me to say why I really care about dyno numbers. I'd rather see proven data saying, oh, what's your trap speed in the quarter mile? What's your ET? Trap speed is really easy to tell how fast a car is. ET tells you how good you can launch. There is a difference. I don't really care about street racing, so I don't really want to line up with somebody just because their horsepower number is the same as mine. Obviously, this is a Camaro, so it's not the lightest thing in the world, but I think it would fear for its own around cars about the same power that I think it makes. Especially high 10-second cars, I think it would compete very well with a lot of them. But I've never really taken it Mexico racing or anything like that. I've really distinctively kept this thing to the track because as fast as it goes in the quarter miles is about as fast as I want to go. I don't really care to test my luck, especially because my job bases me on having a clean driving record, and I think getting caught at well over 100 is not very smart. So yeah, so I just hadn't had a really good luck with dynos and dyno numbers and everything like that. I got too caught up with it at first. When I was full bolt on, I'm like, I want this thing to make 500, and it only made 470, and I'm like, what did I do wrong? And they're like, nothing, dude, motor's just different. And I'm like, but online I wanted to make 500, so I had a 500 wheel horsepower car, and then even to that point I did the first cam and made 594, and I'm like, I couldn't touch 600. Like, I got like too invested in the numbers instead of just performance. I would rather care about dyno numbers saying that I put this part on and gain this much power. That's what I want to use a dyno for. I don't want to say, oh yeah, this thing makes 800 wheel horsepower and then it runs out 11.2. Like, it doesn't go well when you just blow out what kind of numbers you make without having like true data to back that. Yes, an 800 wheel horsepower car can easily run an 11 in street tires and spinning and things like that. I'm not dogging that guy either. I'm just saying I'd rather see gains on the dyno instead of peak numbers on the dyno. I'd actually love to put this car on a dyno to see where I need to be shifting it at, where the peak torque is, and everything like that, so I could learn the car better and launch the car better and know everything about it a little bit better than I do. So obviously there is good functions to it, but here in 2025, a lot of people use the dynos for wrong things. There's too many dyno racers online, or even 60 to 130 racers now. If your 60 to 130 isn't a 4, it's not fast, apparently. Which is kind of crazy, but considering if I had to guess, 60 to 130 in this car's mid to low 7s. If I had to guess, I really have never done 60 to 130 testing, so that'll be a video next year. But yeah, I really just don't find dynos useful for what people use them for. They are a very expensive tool for a good reason, but it's to show what you gained over when you brought the car into the shop or when you made your own changes with mods. It's not for peak numbers. It's not to dyno race. It's not to do anything like that. It's to say, like in this perfect example, I would actually love to have a dyno at my disposal saying I went from 1 7/8 inch headers to 2 3/4 inch exhaust, swapping 2 3-inch exhaust and 2-inch headers. I think that would actually be a great video and a great use of a dyno to see exactly where I lost, if I lost, where I gained, if I gained. And I think, in my opinion, from seeing everything, it's going to be like 6,200 and above, which that 1,300 RPM to a red line at 75 is probably going to be a significant amount different. But that's where I live most of the way through my drag passes is 6,000 plus. So I think it's going to benefit me a ton. In saying that, I'd like to see the gains, but I'm just going to have to do a 40 to 100 pull or a 60 to 130 pull when I do my testing for you guys on here, because I don't have access to a dyno, and it's the closest thing to realistically say what it gained. But again, it's also based on how I can shift, and I'm telling you, I'm going to shift this thing like crazy just to try and be the same. So there's no discrepancies in shifting when I'm doing the 60 to 130 pulls. I will keep it as genuine as I possibly can, but I don't think it would be really hard to see the gains. So yeah, I like dynos. Sometimes they're frustrating. Sometimes they're heartbreakers. People use them for the wrong reason. People don't let their cars cool down before they make pass after pass after pass. And yes, they're a great tool, but there's too many people out there that rely on dyno numbers over true performance. And that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you guys have any, comments, questions, concerns, want to start a conversation, want to start a debate in the comments, I'd love to have it. But I just don't find that dyno racers are very friendly. I more find absolute gains in however you race be more practical. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.